appointments, everyone, so you're better prepared than this. All right, so we're on uh, strengthening relationships, session 12. So thank you all for joining us tonight. As I said when I first did Ignite earlier this month, um, we are adults here. You don't have to raise your hand, go to the bathroom or anything like that. Turn off your camera if you're going to the bathroom. But if you're sitting here with us, I want to see your faces and participation as well. So I look forward to it. If you keep seeing me look over this way, it's because that's where your faces are right now. And so look forward to doing this with you tonight. And let me just share this screen, and then I think we will be pretty good to go. Right. Hey, Brett, how's it going?
Good to see you. Going great.
You as well. All right. Get this slide going here. Oh, where's my screen? All right.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Done. Done and done. All right. Let me just get one other thing I need to get out here. And then it's game time, everyone. All right. Sharon's going to keep an eye on the chat for us. And I will be taking over here. Actually, this will be better for my screen. So I'm going to do that because I'm annoying like this. All right. And are we also looking at Ignite, the slideshow, right? Sharon, it's the slide deck, right?
Yep, I see the slide deck
Okay.
now. You did have it full screen before. There we go.
And we're going back to that. I just switched over some screens. I couldn't tell what you were all looking at. So
Gotcha.
Perfect. So
Looks good.
Look forward to all for tonight. I know it's 6 to 8, so I'm going to try and make this efficient for you all, so we can maybe get out a little bit earlier today too. So let's get going. And any questions, feel free to add that in the chat. Sharon will be able to help you out over there. All right. So I don't know if you've heard about this yet. TPCA compliance. Let's follow it. Let's keep it, constant every day. Nobody likes a fine. We have more notices. So we have the general. These are all our materials. Don't share them out with other people. These are part of the company you work for, not for everyone else to have. With this, we're not going to focus really on any commissions or anything like this. This is going to be about lead follow-up and strengthening relationships. So keep that in mind as we go forward with this, that we're not going to get in real too state specifics. You get a couple team leaders out of Massachusetts. So if you're up in Maine, I don't know what to tell you. But I know who to tell you to go reach out to. So with this, always fair housing, don't spam, and AI disclaimer. Be careful with that stuff and review it. Copywritten material. Awesome. So let's go through this. All right. So with this, we're going to be, covering a few steps in here. We're in the strengthen relationships portion of this. Luckily enough for you, we're on our way in the last final stretch here. So I'm excited for you all to finish up your first round at Ignite if it's your first one. Today's goals that we're going to be going over as well. With this, we're going to apply follow-up principles for leads to contacts, create a 36 to convert touch plan, design and use MOFR messages that generate interest, develop a strategy to grow the numbers of contacts in your database. And what I really want you to walk away from the end of this with too is start thinking about what you will, thinking about the right questions that you're going to ask people as you move forward, and really build up these relationships as well. All right. So pardon me as well. As we do know, in Ignite, there are some things that say we're going to break up in groups. I don't know how to set up a Zoom group. I don't think Sharon does either. So we're going to do this together throughout it. So I'm going to skip over a few of those parts as well. All right. But I do have a couple questions for you folks. What mindset do we need to adapt to successfully nurture relationships with contacts?
Positive one.
I like it. Any other ones? That positive works pretty well. Well, one thing to keep in mind is people work with the agent whose emotional proximity to them is the strongest at the time they are ready to do the transaction. So they're ready to work with the person who's most like them, and maybe not the first one who's in front of them, but that definitely helps. But if you've been staying in touch with them for a long period of time, kept up with their interests, their life, their changes, their needs, you might know the exact mindset they're going into. What can we control about this? We can help influence their emotional proximity by staying in touch with them the whole time through. People in our world, in real estate, especially the successful ones, they build up their database. They stay in touch with them all year round, years and years following, even though they just bought a house. They're not looking to sell next year, but 20 years later, they might give them a call. 5 years later, they might give them a call. The house is getting a little bit too small for them. They need a little bit more room. So with this, always keep in mind is building these relationships, staying in touch with them, and using them as your lead sources as well. Because you never know, family members, downsizing, investment properties, vacation properties, anything like that. You'd be surprised where it comes from. I always use this story because I'm always a little bit hard on myself as well. There was an early client I had in my career. I met them in a house that didn't even have electricity in the dead of January that we went in with flashlights because there was an old oil fire in there. They did not buy this house. But I got in touch with them that same night, got in touch with the lender. We were able to get them, pre-approved, start looking for their home. We were able to find them a great little 2-family that they can start their, journey out of. And they've been enjoying it there. But I can say on my own end, I kind of dropped the ball. I didn't stay in touch with them as well as I should have. And, what was proven to me is they were thinking about me while I wasn't thinking about them. And that's not a good feeling to have because one of their cousins gave me a call. Him and his sister were looking to buy a house together. And that one was one of the easiest deals in the world. It was, within a couple weeks, we were able to find a property. Someone also in my office, by chance, it wasn't, set up anything like that, but it was nice, smooth, clean. And, if I stayed in touch with them, I could have, maybe contacted this cousin earlier, other referrals. You never know what's out there for them. So with this, never sleep on a client and keep them in mind for the future as well. All right. So in Shift, Gary Keller and his writing team remind us of 3 things that lead to growth. The first 2 are thinking steps. First, we need clarity around the goal and priorities. Then we get into action. So with this, have you seen this before? Everyone here? And what's this model called?
Funnel?
It is a funnel, but that's not the name of the model. But it does work like one. So I like where your head's coming in. I'll give you a hint. Some of the parts of the words are on the page.
Is it the lead generation pipeline?
That's it. Right on. Great, great go. Not everyone's used to saying all the models off the top of the head as much as me and Sharon are, so don't worry about yourselves. But exactly, it's a lead generation model. It works just like a funnel, and there are definitely diagrams that make it a lot more funnel looking. So, great job. But yes, this is the lead generation and database model. I believe yesterday you worked on the tools to convert leads. As a reminder, we prospect and market to bring leads and contacts into our database. That's the goal. What would you define the difference between a lead and a contact?
Well, a contact is anybody that you have their contact information for, and a lead is somebody who you have reason to believe they're actively looking to buy or sell in the near future.
Okay. Are you sure that's the case or it's flipped around?
Maybe I said the words backwards.
I believe so. So with this, move forward here, leads, you have the right to have a one-way conversation. So you reach out to them. You might have met them at an open house, left information online with you, showed you had a Facebook post about a new listing, and they showed some interest in it. You're able to reach out and get information from them. With a contact, you've now converted a lead to a contact, making it now a two-way conversation because you're now going back with them. You're asking, okay, I know you're interested in that house. What makes you like that one so much? You're asking the qualifying questions to them. Oh, have you been looking for a while? Are you working with a lender or another agent at this moment? You're now having a back and forth, and it gives you now the opportunity, since they're having the discussion with you. You're getting a little bit deeper than surface level of I want to get a house one day. Now you're digging under a little bit more. You're having a value-based relationship with them. So you're, informing them the steps it might take. So a lead could be anyone who's coming into your database. So that would be all the ones coming from the top of the funnel, because it is a funnel. And so they're coming up from the top and they become a lead. And you want to form that relationship with them in order to make them a contact. Someone you could call up and just check in with. If it's just a blind lead, you can't say, hey, Sharon, this is Casey. Yeah, I met you at that open house. How's everything going? Everything been going good with you? Kids going well? It's like, yeah, I had a kid with me. That was my niece, though. So in moments like this, you always, want to keep that in mind. The nice part, when the leads become contacts and you build up that relationship, and let's say, we convert them into a buyer or seller at one point, they come right back into your funnel as well, into your lead generation, because you don't want to forget about them. Like I sadly did at one point and now know better. So with this here as well, so leads to the people you have contact information for and have a ways to follow up. Contacts are the ones who and they know you, and you can have a reciprocal conversation. I think that's a good way to button that one up there. And with this as well, always remember, I'm sure we've gone over the Y4C2Ts, communication, the third C in the C's of it. Communication, seek first to understand. If we have approached our conversations with contacts with this maxim in mind, we understand their needs and communicate with our contacts based on those needs. So now we're learning about them. We're becoming more of a fiduciary for them. And that's the goal, and it's going to be a quicker way to convert. Plus, these are the kind of people, if you send them emails and updates in their neighborhood and things like this, they can be more reciprocal to understand where it's coming from because they know who you are. Versus if you just met them in an open house and you put them on a drip campaign forever, they might say, who is this person? Let's unsubscribe. And you might have a bad unsubscribe rate. So be careful with how you treat leads versus you treat contacts. We all intend to be successful. As real estate professionals, success is built on relationships. As one top agent said from the stage of a Red Talk, focus on building relationships and take market share. Our goal is to take over the market share from other people. Sometimes they may not always like it, but we're doing it to help ourselves out. And sorry, two screens going at once. So we're starting with mindset. Today's conversation is tomorrow's transaction. Let's establish a mindset around follow-up with our contacts. If your database is a garden, then your leads are the seeds, your contacts are the plants, and conversion is your harvest, right? I get all these lights over here on my indoor gardening lights, so I feel like I'm a gardener right now. And what do you think about the expression on the slide, today's conversation is tomorrow's transaction, and how does it affect your mindset? Any input on that?
Talking to somebody today could bring you a deal down the road.
100%. I'm not trying to throw trick questions your way. 100%. And so with that, it's a great way of, one, set the stage and the standard for them early. You first meet them, you can really set the right expectation for them, just being professional, know what you're talking about. And if you don't know what you're talking about, be honest with them, say, hey, that's a great question. Let me get back to you on that one so I don't give you the wrong answer. This can be proven to be deals years down the line that you don't even know about. I have an aunt also with Keller Williams. She's the one who brought me in, and she's down in Florida, and she's near Clearwater, and that's where Market Center's out of. And there's a lot of snowbirds out of Canada down there, and she works primarily in condos and people where they get a lot of rental homes and things like that. And she'd have people coming down to her open houses all the time, and met this nice couple from Canada. Just one open house, left a card with them, and didn't have any other back and forth with them for a couple years later. Finally got a call from a random Canadian number, and when they were speaking with them, come to find out that she met him at an open house. They remembered her. They said she really stood out. And they wanted, when they were going to look, they wanted to reach out to her. So these are small little seeds that you're planting and just establishing the right relationships with these people that can really come into a full harvest for you. Does anyone have any experiences I know a lot of you are new to real estate, but does anyone have any experiences similar to this outside of real estate in their life? No, we've made no.
Casey, I can give you an
lasting effect on people?
example. If you
Sharon,
want,
let's
I can
go.
give an example. So this is a real estate one, but I got a phone lead. Somebody cold called me in 2014 saying that him and his wife were interested in moving to Western Mass. He didn't really want to say why. And, I kept a relationship up with him over time. I was like, I don't know, this guy could be completely BSing me, or he could be a real client. I'm never going to know unless I continue to follow up with him. And I did. And it turned out that his wife was one of the executives at the casino they were building, and he was one of the builders. And they did move to Western Mass, and I sold them a house. And then they decided they got called back to Vegas. So I sold their house when they left. And then they decided that, you know what? We don't like Las Vegas. We want to live in New England. So then they moved back again. So I had 3 transactions from just continuing to follow up with one person over the course of, I think the third sale was in 2021. So over the course of 7 years, I had 3 transactions with them, probably totaling about 2 million in volume. So, you just stick with people.
Right. Do your best with them. I'm sure that worked out great for Sharon as well. Hopefully you got a free pass to the casino or something like that too.
I got 0. I got nothing.
Ah,
Nothing.
you got a commission.
I got commission.
But yeah, exactly. So like these little steps can really make a long difference, down the line for you folks. So don't sleep on it, and always remember, when people see you, that's how they're going to remember you going forward. So make sure you dress to success, put your best foot forward. All those bad cheesy lines, follow through with it. I believe in last session 11, you discussed how we connect with leads to uncover their motivations and gain information and all that. So when they're ready to make the decision to buy, you have some information. I believe that you went over that last night. I'm used to a weekly Ignite, so I'm thinking last week, but from last night. So this information you get and build these relationships, go to command, put that note in your contact with the client to know these little steps. Daughter starting 5th grade, son and older daughter are both varsity athletes, might go to a good college, things like that. So you can have a topic to ask them about. Oh, are they still playing basketball over there? Anything like that. So keep those in mind as you're growing these relationships as well. And as Gary says in Shift, once you meet your new contacts, you either do business with them immediately or you don't. Either way, once you've met them, you put them in your database and stay in touch with them forever. That second C in Y4C2Ts, stands for commitment in all things. So we're committed to staying in emotional proximity to our contacts. This goes, I'm even thinking this back to the first session I ran, and I forget exactly the name of that one. I think it was session 4, but it was focusing on some social media, do the, 10 likes a day, 5 comments a day, 1 direct message a day. These are great ways. Again, kids starting kindergarten. Let's be honest, we're already sick of seeing everyone's kids online doing their school shopping. And in the next 2 weeks, it's going to be worse with their faces going on the bus. So, go on there and say, oh, congratulations. I'm so excited for you. It's so fun. When my kids were, starting kindergarten, it was such an exciting day. Anything like that. Just, stay in touch with them. It doesn't hurt if you plan on giving them a call in a week or two. Hey, how's the first couple of weeks of school been going? I know this is your first one going to school, public schools has been a big change for you. You never know what information you can get from them from genuinely caring about them as well. Right. And on to the next one. In order to be successful at nurturing relationships, we must understand our goals. So first we have to identify our goals. And our goals are lead follow-up. So take a look at this graph and compare it to the wave graph where every person in your database is on the wave of being ready to buy. In this graph, we will have the lead generation phase on the left where you are gathering and storing leads rather quickly. In fact, you can generate leads in days or weeks. On the right end of the graph, you are busy with the transaction process, which can last from 2 weeks to 2 months. 2 weeks would be awesome for all of them, but that's not the case. So how long is the lead follow-up phase? And do you recall how many years it is between buying homes on average?
8 to 10,
7 to 10.
7
But-
to 10.
Hey, I'm not knocking you for that one. You're right. You're right in there. So good job. So yeah, so it could be about 7 to 10 years. Does it make sense how important lead follow-up is, especially since it can take 10 years? Right? Lead follow-up implies lead conversion as well. We're always querying whether a person is ready to meet for a real estate need, but they might not also be ready at that time either. Lead follow-up plus lead conversion is the path to a signed contract and a transaction. Of course, leads who already express an immediate interest, they move a lot quicker up into that wave graph that you have. So, someone walks in and says, hey, this is the house of my dreams. I got to make an offer on it right now. Maybe not worry about building up that emotional relationship right then and there and just help them get their needs done. But don't forget, you're going to have the time during that transaction to really get to know them as well. This could be someone who met an open house, get to know their needs, their wants, their future goals. Keep them in mind to put them back into your lead generation model to follow up later on. And the best leads are the ones who are ready to go right away. So don't sleep on them. Our goal from session 11 was to convert leads to appointments, and we learned that not every lead is able, ready, or willing to meet. When we encounter folks who are not ready for an appointment, we use follow-up to stay in contact with them until they are ready for an appointment. They've already shown some interest in it, but maybe they're not ready to pull the trigger on it just yet. If you had to guess, how many times have you agreed to be in someone's database when you were not ready to make a purchase? Include all the times you signed up for an email list, a text message for a discount code, never used, anything like that.
50.
50 sounds about right. Sounds probably even on the lower end than I am on that one. I'm pretty good at just hitting no and unsubscribing myself. But yeah, so when you're on these things that you signed up on or didn't sign up for, and you're getting information, you might not be as interested in it. But if you're building that relationship with someone and they're giving you a small drip once a month, every 2 weeks, something like that, you're a little bit more interested with them. Like I know from going to some conventions, family reunion, things like that, some trainings, I've met agents and, they got my contact info and, have put me in some of their monthly emails and things like that. And now that I've met, like if someone just I actually currently have someone who blindly put me on one, and I'm looking forward to unsubscribing from them. But there's some who I met at a training in Austin. Um, they're from the town that Krispy Kreme Donuts is from. And they sent me a note card saying, great meeting you and everything. And then I've been on their mailing campaign since. It's been about a year now. And I like seeing it every week. I like to know what's going on in South Carolina or North Carolina, one of the others. But, it's a nice laid out one. It gives me ideas for my own agents as well to share over to them. So it works really good. And, oh, sorry. Right. All right. And actually, Brent, you told me probably 50 people you signed up for. Maybe you weren't sure if you did it or not. But of those 50 emails or texts you were getting with the discount code, did you ever follow up and actually take advantage of one of the discounts or emails or services they offered?
I would say that, well, I probably regularly will look at various emails. So out of that 50, 5 or 10 of them, so we could say maybe 10 to 20%, I still, I guess, intermittently engage with. So at some point, I could eventually connect with them and they could make their ultimate sale that they were trying to get. So it is effective in a way.
Oh yeah, and with this one, it's not a small ratio with it. It's a you know wide net getting one fish type of deal. So you're keeping your eyes on that. So that's the one of the benefits for these. While not everyone wants to get these emails, and it's the worst when you never agreed to sign up for something, you start getting them. But if you're getting information from something you've worked with, you've gotten good resources from. I recently got some the Hocus, the sneakers, and I started getting the discount shoes. Not discount shoes. They weren't discount. And I started getting the emails, and I was like, no, this one I'm not going to kick over to spam because I kind of like them so far. I want to keep these going so I can get a deal next time I get them. So there's definitely positives to being out there and having proper marketing for yourself to make sure that what you're sending out is informative and useful to the people receiving it so they don't hit unsubscribe for you.
To that point, when you're putting in each contact, and you decide, I want to send this individual, let's say, a biweekly newsletter, I'm assuming you go out of your way to make sure that you're picking exactly where you anticipate they're going to want it, whether it's their current town or a town that they expressed interest in. Are you tailoring your, how the market, I'm sorry, those emails that'll come out, it'll say, here's a
Monthly
summary of your
neighborhood
market.
nurture.
Yes.
So monthly neighborhood nurture, depending on where they're looking to go, could be an interesting one. However, a lot of I find that email a little bit more beneficial for home sellers who might be on the fence of going, because it's going to give more of a snapshot on where they live and it's connected to the neighborhood that's in their contact card. However, if there was a client who said, I will not go anywhere else but the Chartley neighborhood in Norton, Massachusetts. Okay, that works for me. You could add that as their neighborhood and just do a search for that and just tell them, hey, this will notify you, ones that are on the market. Of course, I'll have the MLS email for you too, but this will come out maybe once a month or twice a month for you, give you an idea of what things sold for, the action going on the town. So when we're ready to go after them, we'll be more prepared because we know how the market's acting. But I do find that email to be a little bit more focused towards sellers because it highlights what their home worth would more likely be. And sometimes you can't always guarantee someone's going to get put into this one exact neighborhood that they've been dreaming about. They might have to go to a neighborhood if they really want to be in that area. Because guess what? Not everyone is selling all the time. But yeah, so I would tailor it, for people. Like if someone's saying like, I need to be in a house by the end of the year, I would definitely, make sure they're getting proper MLS emails, your monthly emails, any kind of informative email you can send out to them, because you know that they're a hot lead who are coming in there, who are ready to go. So you want to make sure you're on top of that with them. If you found someone who's just sort of shopping around, their lease runs up next April, so they're really looking to do something in the spring market. You maybe slow it down to maybe a monthly email or something like that every, once a week or so. Um, maybe towards the end of the year, and then as the new year starts up, turn that volume up and crank that throttle on, to get them out there and looking. All right, so we've talked about Mindshare before and how important it is to be converting leads to contacts and contacts to appointments. Take a look at these stats. NAR stats on the slide: 74 to 75% of all buyers and sellers spoke with just one agent before choosing them to represent them. Only 15% of them even considered more than one agent. Those are pretty good odds, but those are good odds if you get the appointment and get in front of them. And that's one of the main goals. What would you say these stats say to you? Any input on them?
Both of them show one agent at 75%. So it's a good chance it's one agent.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, with that one, great chance it's going to be the first agent they see. They might have a good referral from them. You never know the contact that brought you there. Could have been, a referral from one of the people in your database you've been emailing. They referred them over to you. They could have found you online, found some good reviews from you. And again, another reason you want to go in there and put your best foot forward, and all those cheesy lines of dressing to impress and all that kind of stuff, and really shine for them so they don't feel the need to go to another agent. So that you need to be, so what this says is, like Brett was saying too, that you need top of mind. So when the buyers and sellers think of real estate, they think of you. And that's the definition of mind share. Instead of market share, where you're taking over the market, we want mind share and taking over their minds. Do you remember an earlier discussion on how many real estate databases each of your leads and contacts are in? Think about it. How many different real estate databases are you in? I know I'm in a whole bunch. I have Sharon in mine. And have you ever, visited a competitor's site to see what they're looking at? And then, maybe gone to their site and started getting emails or anything like that. Just like your sphere of influence, they're going after them as well. So you want to make sure that you're doing it all right and standing out against the competition. So it naturally follows that goal number 2 of nurturing our relationships with our contacts is to stay top of mind. The data shows that most sellers and buyers only interview one agent before choosing someone to work with. That means if I'm not the first name that comes to mind when a contact thinks about real estate, I'm probably not who they're going to work with when they're ready to transact, because they might have just called the name on the shopping cart at Shaw's and went with them. So definitely make sure you're working to get these appointments, because the numbers are on your side.
I got a listing appointment once because somebody saw my profile picture and they thought that I looked nice. Like they didn't think that I looked intimidating or overly salesy. They just thought that I looked friendly. So I went to the appointment and I was just really friendly and I got the listing. And she didn't meet with anybody else.
They're not, if they're already calling you, bring in their house, do your best, but don't try and change it up in the moment. If they told you what they liked about you, lean into it. Hey, I saw you have a nice smile. I want to bring you by. I think you'd be great for this. Sure thing. I'm gonna brush right before. Hey, so you have a great record. Perfect. I'll make sure to remind you about it. Anything that they tell you, keep it in mind. It's called active listening for a reason. All right. So our clients never stop being contacts. We continue to nurture our relationships with them after the transaction to remain in emotional proximity and help them share our value proposition. I'm sure there's been times you've asked a friend who they go to when looking for a new doctor, barber, shoe store, new restaurant. I think we can all agree that we take recommendations from others pretty seriously, especially those who you like and know, right? I know there's definitely some people who, if they recommend a recommended a restaurant to me, I might take that with a grain of salt because I see what they eat. But there's someone who, if they recommended one to me, I will take their word and I will find my way there as soon as possible. And, my next night out, because they've proven themselves to be a good resource on that one. I also like to think myself am a good resource on it, but we only have, you only have to live off of a few good personality traits. Mine's knowing food in the South Shore. All right. And, when we've had these recommendations sent our way from friends, families, members, seen online, um, do if you're hearing good reviews from someone who and then you see something online, let's pull up one of the happiest places in the world, a local town Facebook page. You hear one person complain on that page about this new restaurant that opened up, but 5 of your friends told you that they did a great job. It was one of the best meals they had, heavy pours on the drinks, everything like that, fast service. Who are you going to side with?
Your friend.
Probably your friend, if you trust their opinion.
Yeah.
So that's just building referrals out there. Of course, I'm sure the restaurant wouldn't have wanted a bad review or anything on there, but as you know how some people can be, you don't necessarily want to take everyone's opinion, especially online. So definitely, lean into referrals, especially bringing them back into your own business. And for important purchases of services of good, it is natural to seek for personal recommendations, especially the ones you have brought, worked with, known before. And that good restaurant person could be a good source of a future restaurant down the line. Going to a fancy dinner one night. Same way that person who referred you to another client might also keep you in mind if they know you did a good job with them. They might refer you to another friend of theirs who could have a bigger property, and they just have now proven that you know what you're doing and you can get the job done. And so, keep in mind in 2021, NAR found that 47% of buyers who used an agent were referred to them by a friend, neighbor, or relative. That number jumps up to 57% for first-time home buyers. So you want to make sure that you're building your name and these relationships. So if anyone asks them, "Hey, I'm looking to buy a house. I know you live in this town. Do you know anyone good over there?" That way, Bo is going to be our first recommendation from them to get that business. And numbers, that's the nice part with stats. They don't lie to us all that often unless someone puts them in wrong. And so you want to be one of those 47% of people. Right. Well, I got 2 different pages here. All right, couple ahas. Anything we picked up on? Anything you want me to shed a little bit more light on right now? Nope, no ahas. All right, let's go. All right. You already know how important lead follow-up is and how you can use the 19 to connect and 1 to cement plans to connect with leads from sessions 10 and 11. Now let's talk about how we can use the 36 to convert plan to stay in contact long-term and gain the benefit of clients and referrals from your database. Remember, they have it looks like you created a foundation for your 36 to convert when you designed your 19 to connect touch plan last night. So your 36 to convert plan is a comprehensive program with different layers of input, contains a mixture of phone calls, newsletters, events, market updates, home valuations, and other value-based products. The trick is to find what people are in the market. The trick is to find what people are in your market value and to design your touches to match what they value. A little bit going on to what Brett was talking about earlier. And how do you know what your contact's value is?
You got to communicate with them and find out.
100%. Yep. You don't know if you don't find out. You don't know if you don't ask. So, use the call system, do the database twice, quarterly calls to your clientele to stay in touch and deepen the relationships. This is works so well when timed around key parts of the year. I use kids going to school, things like that, end of summer. It's a great time to get in touch with people you haven't talked to in a while and touch base with your clients. No, so on these ones here, notice the overlap in the touches between the 19 to connect and the 36 to convert touch plans. The 4 quarterly calls in your 19 to connect can be the same quarterly calls you use in your 36 to convert. So you're already doing the same work on them. Just be, efficient and purposeful over it. If you already have someone on a smart plan to receive 2 promotional direct mail touches from your 19 to connect plan, you could just add 2 more to an existing plan to get your 4 promotional direct mail touches in the 36 convert touch plan. That's a mouthful. And so I'm going to just start referring to these as 19 and 36, by the way, because I'm going to trip over my tongue every time. So, 4 touches quarterly phone plans. Sorry, guys. 12 touches here. That's only 14 more over here. 2 touches, 2 touches. Well, these are events and get-togethers and promotional, but utilize all of these together and don't sleep on them. Our messages for the 36 touches should be 2 things. 1, build your connection with the contact by getting to know their needs and wants. And 2, elicit a response from the contact that puts you in dialogue with them as quickly as possible. We call these messages that do the latter a MOFR, make offer for immediate response. Does anyone have any examples of MOFRs they can think of?
Market analysis.
How would that be spun?
I'm sorry.
How would you say it? I can make a post that says market analysis all day, but how would you make that a MOFR?
Oh goodness. If you give me a half hour of your time, I can give you a free market analysis and tell you what is the value of your home today.
Perfect. I like it. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel, throw curveballs or anything like that. We're trying to be direct and get a direct response back from it. One fun thing, if you're utilizing AI at all for your business as of yet, great place to play around. Hey, give me some social media post ideas that include a MOFR. It's very straightforward, easy, and a lot of people are already doing it. So don't sleep on that. All right. So keep in mind, think over some MOFRs as well. I don't know if this is necessarily some homework for you, but they're going to be things that pop up. So keep them in mind. Maybe try and get a little list to get some of your social media profile out there with get a MOFR on a couple of the posts, especially the real estate focused ones. So you never know if that's going to hit the right person at the right time. All right.
I have a question. Could this be
yeah.
like would you prefer a house with a pool or a house with an ocean view? Would you prefer like something like a pool or
No,
something?
that's more so, without a better word for it, filler material to stay out there and keep people engaged. This would be, let's just go and have fun with it, right? Let's see what my friend ChatGPT says. Write me a real estate MOFR. Let's see what it gives, right? Well, I guess this one's not as smart as it should be. I have to explain what a MOFR is. I've had these before.
Another one would be to offer. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
That's all right. All right. So, I mean, I think Lisbeth had a good one there. Are you interested in the value of your home today in this hot market? Give me a call and I'll make an appointment with you. You know, anything along those lines. You're giving them something to reach out to you, pull that information. And it's crazy how much once you read into these more, you start seeing them everywhere.
The monthly neighborhood newsletter. That's what I was thinking. At least to get the
Oh yeah, that's a great one. Hey, are you interested in what your neighbors are selling their homes for? Reach out to me to get an in-depth market analysis on the homes that sell near you. Anything like, something that's given a hook that they have to jump onto and you reel them in.
I just tried the ChatGPT thing, like you said, and the first one it came up with was comment value below, and I'll send you your customized home report within 24
That's a
hours.
perfect one. Yeah, you could do that one. Comment below and I'll send you my first-time buyer's playbook. And how am I going to send that to them? Hey, I'd love to send this over. I got to email it though. It's too big. Can I have your email address and your phone number and your address? So this is a great way of just, getting connected with them. Plus, like the one Brett just mentioned there, that one, now they're commenting into your post, which is going to increase your algorithm to pop up on their page a lot more because they've already seen you interact with your page, so that's going to promote you higher up on their algorithm as well. So always lean into those. A couple good ones. This awesome house just came on the market. If you're looking for a home in this neighborhood, call me right away. And you could, you don't have any listings, find someone in your market center who just has a new listing. Ask them if you can post about it and get it out there in the world. See who you can reel in. Interest rates are at the lowest ever, not said right now. If you're considering buying now or thinking about refinancing, I can put you in touch with lenders who can work with you. Do you know the prices of home in your neighborhood or any area of town? I've got just a report for you. Call, text, or visit my website to sign up. Lisbeth, that's a good one for your monthly neighborhood nurture. Take it a sec. Turn to the Develop Your 36 Touch Plan page in your participant guide. We're going to take just a moment to look over this here and just make sure that you're working on this as we move forward. The training does try and allot for about 25 minutes, but I respect all your time. And I want to make sure we're out of here on time as well. So I just want to let you know, work on that, maybe after today's class or tomorrow to get that developed, because it will be a very important thing to have in your tools to be ready to hit the world and run. All right, let's move on. Goal setting to the now. If you have 200 contacts in your database and you put them all on a 36 touch plan, how many touches is that per year? Everyone's popping out their calendars, calculators.
I feel like we should have the Jeopardy music playing. Da-na-na-na.
We're not, I don't think either of us tech savvy enough to pull in music.
No. I could try.
I think singing it works. All right. So how many? If you have 36 touch plan, how many touches?
800.
800? How are you getting that?
You said
Like
200 times 4.
I didn't say for the 36 touch plan. So each contact is on a 36 touch plan.
7,200.
7,200. Yep. So if you have 200 contacts in your database, that's 7,200 touches. That might feel exciting for some of you and overwhelming for others. I think I might be in the latter category where it seems like a crazy amount. But both responses are great for that one. In the one thing, Gary Keller and Jay Papasan explain why we need a big why and to think big. They also share that the way to get there is break down our someday goals into smaller and smaller goals until we get to a daily goal and right now a goal. And they call this setting to the now, goal setting to the now, I should say. For our 36 to convert, we are already starting at the 1 year goal. We intend to touch every contact in our database at least 36 times in the next year. To stay motivated, to keep up with your touches, remember that every touch is getting you closer to your someday goal and feeds your big why. Those 7,200 touches are how you get to your someday goal. We have the 1 year goal, and we know we need to break that down by month, week, and day to be able to set our goal to that now. Turn to goal setting to the now in your participant guide. And with this, what you're going to be doing here, start with how many of the people in your database are contacts, people you have permission to have a two-way conversation with. Multiply that number of contacts by 4 to calculate how many telephone call touches you will make this year with your contacts. Divide the total number of telephone calls by 12 for the number of calls you need to make each month. Divide the number of the call per month by 4 to get the number of calls you need to make every week. Divide the number of calls per week by 5 to get to the number of calls you'll make every day. 5 days a week to call each contact in your database 4 times this year. And let me know what numbers you guys get. At least that helps. All right, what's our weekly call number looking like? I don't have a number yet.
Mine basically says I just got to make a couple calls a day.
That's really it when you think of it. Because let's base this off 200 valid contacts in there. So we'll multiply 200 contacts by 4, we get 800. Divide the total number of telephone calls by 12. That makes it 66 point, a whole bunch of sixes. So it's kind of scary on that one. So each week by 4. So on 200 contacts in there, we're looking at about 16 phone calls a week. Divide that by 5. Do you think we can handle 3.5 per day?
Yes.
Right on, Brett. That's what I like to hear.
I just
All
need
right,
to
so
be
it's-
doing it. I'm saying I'm gonna start doing it now. That's my
That's what I can bet you money that you're not the only one in this room who's saying that, and not the only one at every market center saying that as well. But one thing I can say, and I'm sure Sharon will back me up on this one, is when you start looking in your market center and you see these top agents who are just killing it year after year, and you just think they must have some kind of secret sauce that they're doing every day. I thought of that before I got into leadership. I started working with them. Nope. They're just hitting their phone and making relationships. There's no secret sauce.
There's no
outside
secret.
of no secret. The only kind of maybe dash of flavoring they add to it is experience and, knowledge. And, you only get experience by
Consistency.
doing it. Consistency every day.
The top agents are consistent with their lead generation. They do it every day. They
Mhm.
plan their time. They are dedicated to doing it. They most of my agents, I can't really get a response from them in the morning because that's when they're doing their lead generation, and they go to a space where they're uninterrupted and they focus on making their calls.
Mhm. And then they, time that appropriately, schedule it early on in their day. So it takes
Mhm,
about 3 hours or so. And then they're
mhm.
sitting around annoying the people who weren't getting their job done early in the day in the market center. And they're trying to play catch up while the big dog's energies are running around.
Mhm.
So, if you're seeing the successful people doing these actions, might be the person to mimic. All right. So we're going to move on to smart plans. Combine smart plans, secure 836 touch for your contacts. You can find helpful links for how to use smart plans, set up your Twilio account, and tag your contacts in your participation guide. Also, don't forget about Connect on Command. It's a fantastic resource that's just getting better and better every day. You can also use the question mark icon in Command to find answers and tips on how to use Command. And also, don't forget, there's also Quick that's recently been added on there. It's pretty fun. I was using it for some troubleshooting earlier today, but it's pretty well ingrained AI system into Command, and it's also well versed in the MREA. So don't sleep on that, and start playing with it early, because you might be, find something that other people aren't, or help other people by giving them some really good feedback to improve it, because everything's always changing every day. So if we don't know it needs improved, no one else is going to tell us. All right. Any ahas?
The Morpher.
All right. Mofer's great. They're not going away either. And sorry, but you're now going to be jaded by seeing it from every other company out there, and hopefully be a little bit more guarded from saying yes to them as well. Also, does anyone here know what AHA stands for?
Agent helping agents.
Rena, you win a gold star. All right. Let me just take one moment here just to get aligned with where I'm at on this. All right. I just want to do a little double check. So we're halfway through on time here, and we're making our way pretty well along as well. So I should hopefully have you folks out a little bit earlier today, too. Excuse me. All right. Each day in Ignite, you grow in how you think, feel, act, and implement what you learned from learning and ahas. You move towards the achievement of your big life. And that's what we're here for, right? To do our big goals. Um, you know, all of you, please write in your participant guide how you've grown in each of these areas as well, because it definitely helps. These are notes you might be looking back on a year from now and kind of seeing some of the changes. You might even add some new notes to it. So make sure you're utilizing your participant notebook, participant guide throughout this as well. And make sure you're taking the time to reflect on what you've learned. It's really important building your confidence and celebrating your growth through it, because I'm sure from July 31st to today, you probably felt like you're drinking from a fire hose and learned a lot about your growing real estate career. So, be proud of yourselves for what you're learning and growing through this as well. Success system. Actually, give me one moment here, because it does start off saying for the next 2 hours. So that's not happening. This one I'm gonna move a little bit past.
No, we can
So I
swing
do- we can swing it. All right, we're pulling it till 9. That's just for that one section. So let me just see where I'm at on this real quick.
I didn't know we were making this an all-nighter, Casey.
Yeah. Everyone, get your last cup of Joe will be good.
I'm hungry.
All right, so we're gonna be some work at home items for you folks. So let's move to our success systems. Timekeeping in mind, that purpose is develop the mindset, skills, and tools you need to build relationships and secure an appointment with potential buyer or seller. So as of now, your daily success system tracker includes 10 conversations with your sphere, people you know and who know you, 10 contacts added to your database, name, phone, address, and more, especially notes about them. 10 handwritten notes, express gratitude to let people know you're in real estate and appreciate referrals. That could be great. Friends and family. Again, send someone's kid going to kindergarten a card saying, congratulations, so excited you're starting school. That's going to make the parents happy for that one too. Utilize the 10-5-1 model, so social media engagement as well, and then other enrichments. You'll be accomplishing many of these goals during a success system time. So this time will be a little bit outside of this session tonight, because we don't want this 2 hours taken up with that. So make sure you're keeping notes in your book and utilizing those as you review back through this later on, and maybe shift around some of your focus, as we're all known to do in this industry. Okay. The first job of a real estate agent is lead generation, because the activity of generating leads is the foundation to your business. In addition, practicing conversations and dialogues will prepare you for success. That is, appointments, signed agreements, signed contracts, and sales closed. Of course, before we get involved in conversations, which will be carried over to your own market centers, because I'm sure that they have some great activities going on in there, to take advantage of this time. Remember to always follow the TPCA compliant ways for this as well. Don't forget. So I would say just, make sure that you're getting your script practice in there. Maggie, our RTT, she came to our market center and did an AI skills class, and showed a cool one where it'll talk back to you and you can go back and forth with it with objection handling. KW Easton, Brett, mark your calendar. It's next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Next Wednesday, 10 a.m. One of our, great huge culture agents, Colleen Jolyn Boyle, is, doing an objection handling class, and hopefully you all have in your market centers these sessions as well. So let's begin on this section here by getting our mindset primed for success. We do this with affirmation. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship with me. Turn to someone close to you and say this affirming message out loud to the other person. If you're alone, say it to your mirror or add it to the chat. All right, this is the role play. As you can see, there's some time limits on there. This is what we're not able to do here, so I do apologize. So this is going to get you moving forward here to prepare for the next day because Brett, sorry, I pick on you, but you're one of my guys, and I know you a little more than the rest. You were just saying, I don't, I'm not sure who to call. I'm trying, I think, all right, I got to get this done, which everyone does all the time. Even the top agents have the days that just aren't feeling it. What can really get you over that hump? Because if you wake up first in the morning and just start thinking to yourself, oh, who should I call today? You're going to feel like you're already trapped and lost in that one. Let's separate these two activities from making and planning and doing all together into two separate parts. Let's the night before plan your calls. If you're doing the DTD2, doing the database twice with the quarterly calls, every week you're going to hit a certain last name, and that's who you're going to call that week. There you go. Follow that and keep that as your call list. Write them out, write their phone number, write their email there. So that way, when you wake up in the morning and you're ready to hit lead generation, you now have less excuses not to do it. And this is going to make you more confident because you already know, all right, I've already done the hard work. I picked who's going to get the call. Now I just got to pick up the phone. And,
That's a great
when you
idea.
feel, hey,
Uh,
it's,
I need some motivation to get me going, and if I have a list that I made the night before, I'm much more likely to stick to it than if I wake up in the morning discouraged and I have to come up with a list. That's not happening.
right. And being discouraged can come on quick and hard. So, when that happens, you don't want to be stuck in that. And this also is the perfect little cherry on top to finishing your day before. You've already done your lead generation, you've done your marketing, you've done any contact, client calls and everything like that you have to handle. Maybe you have a showing later in the afternoon, but you want to be out of the office. You want to be out of work mode and get into social mode or showing mode. This is a perfect final of the day, cherry on top. Let's square away my call list for tomorrow. So that way, when I come in here, I'm just going to do it again. And again, these are the activities that these top agents handle, and they do it well every day because they have practice on it. All right, let me just take a look through this to make sure it's not another 45-minute speaking session here. Okay, so back onto the preparing your conversation list. So when you prepare, you determine who you will contact with today before you begin. So it's already squared away. You write all their names on the sheet and generate the list from your database of contacts. Take action. When you connect with these people through conversation, this is your most valuable activity, building relationships with people in your database, and it'll take up most of your lead generation time. The nice part about this taking up the most of your lead generation time, these people already know you. And so it's going to be a little bit less stressful conversation, hopefully, than it is with, say, a cold call or something like that. Try and maintain when you've updated contact, maintain these contacts. And when you have the phone calls, go back into your command. Maybe this contact sheet you have has a little note section after it. So you can just do it all on paper if you're a paper person, and then upload these all into command when you finish your lead generation session. Add any notes. Kid going to kindergarten. We just got back from the Cape. It's our 50th anniversary in October, so we're doing a huge Italy trip. It's going to be just like our first like our honeymoon we went on. So we're going to repeat the steps. Great things to keep in mind for it. So you find out in October they went on this trip for 2 weeks. Give them a call a little bit before Thanksgiving. Ask them how the trip was. Do you have any recommendations? I've always wanted to go to Italy, or I've been to Italy. These are great ones to stay in touch and have a good conversation with them. So definitely work on these because I think it's going to make some of the hesitation you have at the beginning of your lead generation a lot easier to go through it and a little bit less painful. Like I said, 45-minute activity, not happening. Update contacts. You're going to do this on your own after making your phone calls. The past activity, by the way, was calling people and then updating them. So I'm going to trust you all can do that on your own time. Hopefully in the morning as you're filling out the contact list. All right. All right. Training to get better feedback. All right, so in here, let me see if I can select this. Um, hold on, I think I can. All right, I guess not. So, with this in here, oh, I don't want to go back. If you don't mind, training always gets better with feedback. This isn't the end, by the way. We still get some time left, but they slipped this in before the people leave half an hour early. So scan this, or go right to kwueval.com. This event, we're doing a virtual event. Instructor number 1 name is Casey, and I'll put my name in the chat so you all can see it here. It's Casey with a K. And Sharon, do you want to just put yours in there as well for instructor number 2? And this course will be called Ignite Session 12, Strengthening Relationships and Lead Follow-Up. All right, give you all another minute or so, 20 seconds as we get to the end of 7-11 here. And then we'll move on forward with this. And it is likely that our names are not in there. So go to the very bottom, instructor not in drop down. All right. Don't forget about KW Cares. It's a fantastic organization, especially when you see, and the sad part is we're getting to the season where we're going to start seeing them more. So, don't sleep on these. When you get some of your first closings, it doesn't hurt. Just give like $5 or anything towards them. They're always the first Mack trucks driving into these devastated areas, like when they had the North Carolina hurricane and floods and everything. They were some of the first ones in, having generators, tents, sleeping bags, water, food, clothing for people. They help out directly in market centers. In mine, we had an agent who, he had cancer, was unable to work. So they gave a huge benefit back to him to help him out. He's a great cultural ambassador in our office, so it meant a lot. They had an award ceremony for New England region, and the year before, in 2024, they zoomed him in as he was in treatment and in the hospital at that time. And luckily this year, they were able to bring him up on stage and celebrate his success for it. So it was great to see Brian up there killing it. And then, it's great to see them giving back to people who are in need, who we work with. You never know if you're going to be in that same situation. So you always just want to, give back, because karma knows how to play its own game, and it'll come back at you. And don't forget about Next Gen, entrepreneurs and agents under 30 looking to grow. It's a great organization, great networking events, trainings and things for them as well. So if you fall under that bracket, take a look at it. I've seen a lot of success come out of here. All right. So with this, we've been working on our daily success system. I want to know about yours. What challenges have you had with it? You've had no problems at all. Wow. Sharon, look at these.
It's
Look at these chats
amazing.
going here. So
Oh, wow.
unbelievable.
So many chats. Even small wins. Somebody answered the phone. You got to engage with somebody in a conversation. You started up a conversation with somebody. Anything like that. You had a real estate related conversation with somebody. Has anybody had anything like that happening?
That's pretty much mostly all I've been having is introductory conversations, but I need to get a little bit further. With some people, it hasn't been quite appropriate for me to for me to ask them for contact info. So that's been the hang up. But
Pretty much.
trying to make that a smoother connection moving forward.
What would make it inappropriate for the contact info?
Well, sometimes if for example, if it's someone I'm at work with, I'm not trying to hound them and drill them at work with, hey, so what's I can help you. But I mean, at the same time, sometimes some people kind of feel like, well, I know you because I work with you, so I can talk to you about this. So that's been my issue is I've been trying to mostly bridge the gap with people at work, and sometimes I don't know when to ask them for their contact info.
Well, I mean, a nice way to break that is, neighborhood nurture email, MLS updates. Hey, oh wait, you live over in Natick? Yeah, you want to know what that house went for? I'll share one over. I'll send it over to you so you can see the information about it. Just give me your email. I'll forward it over to you. If you want, I can just send you something that tells you about the house that's coming up in there. You know, just if you're nosy like I am, you want to see what your neighbors are going for. It's sometimes just asking a little bit for the business. That's a good skill to get practice in on, is just asking for the business, where you'd be surprised how many people are also scared on the other side to ask you to help them.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
So, I mean, these are those little seeds that you're dropping that'll become plants, that'll become your harvest later on. So like, don't be afraid to, offer something. Hey, oh, you live over in Taunton? Yeah, well, I can give you a market update in Taunton if you're looking into there. I'd be happy to send something over. That way, when you are ready to make a decision on it, you're a little bit more aware of how the prices are going. You're trying to help them out. So, don't sleep on that one there. And any other, success stories from doing the daily success tracker system, hosted an open house, got some contacts from it, an underrepresented buyer, anything like that? Any handwritten notes? None of you sent a handwritten note?
I've sent it to a couple other realtors, but
Okay.
trying to connect with them, but not buyers or sellers.
All right. Yeah, I mean, keep in mind too, handwritten notes could if you're at a networking event or something, you met a lender, an insurance person, you can always send one to them. I have handwritten notes on my cork board above my desk that are from agents who we helped in the change last year, when they did the commission change. And we were inviting a lot of the indie brokerages as well to join in, because we were running a lot of trainings on the new changes. And we don't want to see them fail, because they're bringing properties to the market in our town, so we want to help them out. I got a wonderful handwritten note from one of them, and I hung it right up there, and I like looking at it. And have, if any of you have received a handwritten note, it does feel nice. Yeah, it sounds cheesy, it sounds like something your grandmother might tell you, but it does feel nice. You feel like kind of proud, and kind of get that like weird feeling like you're going on a first date, like them thinking about me. And it's one that I stand by with them. And again, these top agents out there, especially if they're like from a Buffini training program, they're all about the handwritten notes, and people remind them about getting their notes and keeping in touch with them. So this is a key part of your lead generation.
Two things, Casey, if I could. One, Casey and I met for the first time at a New England like regional event that was in New Hampshire. And I remember like standing around a table talking to Casey and a couple of other gentlemen who I'd never met before. And I exchanged business cards with them. And You know, a couple days later, went back to the office, and those two other guys we were talking to each sent me a handwritten note to the office in the mail, which I thought was like really, really nice, you know, just to connect with each other as agents. So don't be afraid to send those out and start polishing the messages that you send. The other thing is that there's an entire industry out there now. There's a company that's called, I think it's Inked or Get Inked. They were at
yeah.
Mega Camp last week, and you can, you know, if you start really getting into your practice of using handwritten notes, which is something that I always actively did, they will, you can send that to them and they don't actually handwrite them. They have a little robot that writes with a real pen on the cards, and it looks like real handwriting. So it doesn't look like one of those fake printed cards that you know isn't handwritten. Like it looks handwritten, and you can customize so that the handwriting looks more like yours, especially if you're someone like me. I'm left-handed, I write messy, I drag my hand across the page, I get ink everywhere. So like those kind of vendors are out there. So that's something, if you really get into doing sending personal notes, there's resources for you once you get that to like another level. Or you could even start doing it now.
It doesn't hurt, and it's just a good way to stay in touch with people, especially if you meet people at, you know, big conferences or something. Get those names out there for referrals. The one I
Mhm.
mentioned earlier from I believe North Carolina, where she sent the note to me, and now I'm on her monthly email. She, in her note card, which is also hanging up on my board, you know, she included a $5 Krispy Kreme gift card on there. She's like, "Oh, Krispy Kreme is from this town," and I'm like, "That's awesome." I don't have the closest Krispy Kreme to me is like 3 hours away in Connecticut, so it's not you know, I'm not rushing there, but it's still in my bag that I always travel with. And the last time I was near Krispy Kreme, I think it was in the Atlanta airport, and it was closed down that day when it was a delay. And I had to do a connection through there. And I was like, I looked it up. It said there was one. I'm like, I'm gonna put this in my bag for a reason. And then it was closed, and I'm very upset still. But I will utilize this gift card. Is all I'm gonna say. Um, but yeah, you know, they're great ways to stay in touch. People like them. You know, if you're getting used to doing them, maybe not on that inked level where you're sending out a million of them all the time, get a really nice custom one. We have an agent in our office, a huge note card guy, and his name's Larry Hassan, and he kind of years ago put together this really nice little, you know, business card for himself. Kind of looks like a Folgers cup logo type of deal, red with the yellow writing and everything. And I've actually was working with him to get that to put on a you know, thank you or note cards, and he finally put the order in because he's been using more generic ones, and he's like, "This is great. I don't even have to put a card in there anymore." And everyone always recognizes cards too because the signs match them, and everyone makes the Folgers bad joke. But it's great
Yeah.
because, you know, he has clients who keep, you know, call him year after year, still thanking him for him. They're not ready to sell. They were happy with the home he sold them last time, but they still know he's the agent they go,
Larry's the one who sent me a card
"Oh,
for sure. Yeah.
he is a gem. He is my prototype
What a nice
agent."
guy. Yeah.
Sweetest
Just to
man in the world.
mention too, I have an agent who when it's one of her clients' birthdays, she has these absolutely absurd sized birthday cards that she will bring to their houses. Like as you know, past clients, people in her sphere, when it's their birthday, she goes nuts with this like insane, like you can't mail it, it's too big. She goes and drops it off at their house. And so everybody remembers her as the gigantic birthday card girl. Like that she went out of her way to go do that for people. That's the kind of stuff that like really sets you apart.
Does he follow the system where she does it the day before, or is it on the birthday?
I don't remember. I would have to ask her.
I hope it's the day of. The day before one, I still can't sit well with, but
No.
that's just me. I'm a little selfish. Um, but does anyone have any opportunities of improvement you could have on this daily success system? I want to hear from you guys. Me and Sharon, we like to talk, and we will at every given opportunity. But I want to hear from you. Where are you finding some rooms for growth and opportunity in here?
I'm a dual career agent, and but I work a ton of hours on my first job, so I don't have a ton of time to do all this stuff we're talking about. Trying to
Mhm.
like figure it all out, but one thing I do is I work for an internet company. I hook up people, so I'm in their houses all the time. So lately, I've just been trying to like talk to them about the house. How long you been here? You like it? Crowbar in that I'm a realtor if I can, and I've left some cards and done stuff like that. So
Mhm.
I haven't really gotten anybody's information yet, but that's one thing I'm trying to do. But it's difficult.
I think that is a good opportunity. Maybe not for all of them, but say you had a real good conversation with someone in one of these houses.
Right. Yeah.
You went a little bit later than you intended and all that. That might be a perfect one for the handwritten note. Don't even say real estate or anything like that. Maybe have your info in there, your card, but just hey, it was a wonderful conversation with you. Glad we can get you back connected on Wi-Fi. Maybe not. That sounds a little weird, but just like, hey, it was a wonderful conversation with you. It was amazing to hear about your life and your travels that you've gone through. And I just wish you all the best. If you need anything, feel free to reach out. It doesn't need to be the Godfather, right? No, it can just be simple. It just, hey, it was a fantastic time. I really enjoyed it. And I hope you have a fantastic, life ahead of you. It could just be something simple as that. And people,
Yep.
they like it because they don't get them a lot. Like, you don't receive thank you cards, randomly in the mail all that often. So when it comes through, you're always like, oh, that was nice of them. You feel good. And then you also start hearing people complain. I'm currently in the process of planning my wedding next year. A year from 10 days from now. So wish me luck.
Mm.
And with this one, you're talking to people and then you hear, one person says one thing, you remember this wedding, and then you hear like the aunt, the aunt I'm talking about. They didn't send a thank you card. They will remember if you don't send those ones and write it in their little family book. And then if you do, they care a lot more. So it's just a good habit to get into. It can really get you into a habit for it that now you're not even thinking real estate. Someone sent a gift to you or sent something or helped you move something. And you're like, oh, they're just on the list now. It becomes a habit. Bo, I would also say, you're working full time, dual career. It is tough. I understand it fully. Try and find ways to like leverage this time for it. That's going to be, the best thing you can do is really time block. I think would really help you out. Of course, I'd have to learn a little more about you to find some of the things there. Because I've been in your shoes before. It's really tough to be a dual career agent. However, utilizing a lot of the systems and command, smart plans, things like that, can really help automize a lot of these steps. Use the Meta Business Suite, plan 2 months ahead. Go on ChatGPT and have it write you out a plan for social media for the next 2 months, and leave some space, do the 80-20 rule. 80 isn't
Yeah.
necessarily about direct real estate, 20% is real estate. Maybe save that 20% if you're helping with an open house, sharing new listings, things like that, video tours, something like that. But schedule out all the ones that aren't time sensitive or anything like that. So that's going to save you a lot of time. And then just keep in mind the 10-5-1 system. I hope you get at least a 30-minute lunch break, or
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're sitting on the
Yeah.
couch at night, go through light, make 10 comments, 10 likes, 5 comments, and someone you've known a long time but you haven't talked to in a while, they see him do something good, send them a message, hey man, that's awesome. I always loved the You're gonna be like my brother. I've always loved those old Trans Ams. You finally got one, man. That's fantastic. Way to go.
Yeah.
Anything like that. Just and it's not about real estate. It's just you getting back in touch with them. We have a newer agent we brought in our office, and they're following a lot of the daily success systems. And he was trying to do the contacts. He reached out to a guy, kind of buddies with, who he saw online, started chatting with them from doing the direct message. And that guy was like, "Hey," they live like 2 towns over from, or neighboring towns, I should say. And the guy reached out to him like a week later and was like, "Hey, Nick, I'm doing an open mic thing at this local bar. If you want to come by, love to see you." And he's like, "Sure." He came out of his comfort zone a little bit, went down there, chatting with the guy, a couple of his buddies. He wasn't throwing up real estate, but it was just a way to get out there in front of these people. As long as you didn't make a fool of yourself, you're probably going to be invited back again. And
Yeah.
let's be honest, as we get older, it's tougher to meet friends, right? That's a good way to stay in touch with them. Not everyone
Right.
who's working like the 9 to 5s and they go home, they just put their head down on the couch and repeat and repeat. You're all in here because you want the freedom of real estate and the life it can bring. I think it's safe to say that that's all of your goals.
Oh yeah.
These are little,
Yeah.
because a lot of those goals too are more free time with the people I care about, have a little bit more fun, make more money. Some of these little steps can really help grow that to your big why. All right. Any other ahas or feedback on the daily success system? Any questions?
I just have a question on the
Yeah.
handwritten notes. Should we be putting our, like doing business as Keller, like our whole title on those as well? Like, our business cards have to say specific things, and does that follow suit with handwritten notes?
No, I don't believe so. Sharon, have you heard anything that would restrict that?
Believe so, because it's not advertising to the general public. You're sending someone a personal message. So I would include your KW information so that people know how to contact you and that
Yeah.
they're aware that you're in real estate, But I don't know if you necessarily have to follow the exact, advertising laws like you do with social media or any print or advertising like that. It's when you're advertising to the general public where you have to be cautious, because the biggest concern is false advertising and portraying yourself as working as an individual when in fact you are a representative of your broker. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
And with these ones, it is, I'm viewing it as a thank you. You know what I mean? Like, hey, thanks for the great conversation we had. It was fantastic. And I can't wait to make those cookies you gave me the recipe for. Something like that. We're not going, high level or anything here. It's just gratitude. And so, I would say, maybe slip a business card in, or if you have some magnets, I feel like magnets go with the thank you card a little bit better. And so it's, put your stuff in there, depends on how well you know them. Do you want the return address to be your home address or your market center's address? Maybe be aware of that part there. But no, like Sharon said, I wouldn't be too worried on that end there. Any other questions, comments, concerns, insights, ahas?
I'll just mention, Casey, I just dropped in the chat a link to this most recent The One Thing podcast that
Nice.
Jay Papasan did this week. I always find those incredibly helpful, and because I feel like he's talking right to me, like he gets me. But he was talking about the 6 ways of self-sabotage, and sabotage is like it's just another word for things that we do where we know we have something to do, right? We know we have something important that we need to get done, and for all of us, it's getting started with our real estate career and figuring out the activities that we need to complete. And we know we need to make calls, we need to send letters, we need to do these things, but we have a way of self-sabotaging by saying, until I do this perfectly and I know exactly everything there is to know about real estate, I can't do it. And the problem is that in this industry, you are never going to stop learning. You have to have the self-confidence to just move forward with what you feel good about and just do it. And you know what? If it didn't come out exactly perfectly the first time, that's okay. Do it again. Keep doing it. Fail forward. Don't be afraid to make a mistake just because, and let that stop you from moving forward in your real estate career and keep you just kind of frozen. Don't be afraid. You got to just jump in and just get it done.
And also, don't be afraid to not know something.
I
If
don't know
you
lots of
lie,
things.
I barely know anything. Sharon can back that up. And in here, like a lot of people will say, like, oh, I'm not ready to do an open house of my own. I don't know everything about the house that's on my listing. You know, anything like that. It's, you know what a fantastic sentence is? That's a great question. Unfortunately, I don't have the exact answer for you right now, but I can get it for you. Art, if you leave me your information so I can follow up to make sure I get that to you as soon as possible.
That's a great mofer.
Mofer right there in person in front of them. You're being genuine. You know, how old's the roof? No, I'm helping out at this open house today. That's a great question. I should have asked it before. Are you going to go do a tour right now? Give me a moment. Let me try and call the agent. You know what I mean? Or hey, I'm going to be contacting the agent later, and I'll get this answer for us. Is it okay if I follow up with you? Just leave your contact information on the sign up sheet. I'll do a star right here and write a roof age for it. Anything like that. Because now these people are giving you, you know, permission to reach back out to them. Also, when you reach back out, like, oh yeah, no, this is the agent. You know, did you have any other questions about the house? How'd you feel about it? Now, what did your agent have any opinion? Oh, you're not working with one. Oh, that's crazy. I'd love to work with you. So, you know, be okay not knowing everything, because there's too many parts of this industry that no one's going to know all of it, because there's a million webs that it goes down. And most of our market centers has the people in there who can fill in all those voids, but there's usually not one person who knows it all. And if they did, that would be incredible. So the last steps on here, because I told you I want to get you out in time. This is just kind of going over some command, getting some help on command as well. So use Command and Connect to get help on it. Are you seeing my mouse on the screen? You are? All right, cool. So up here, there's a little question mark on Command. Utilize it. It's a great resource for live support chat. But also you have up in this area, you'll have Quick available, KWIQ. And that's going to be the Keller Williams AI system there that's tied in with, you know, hey, what's a good smart plan to put on a first-time home buyer who I just signed on with? Anything like that. Hey, what are the lead generation steps of the lead generation model? Play around with it, see how it goes. Connect, I'm honestly a bigger fan of, because, and Sharon will back this up, a lot of the systems in Keller Williams used to be in like 8 different websites and services and everything like that, and now they're just, again, we're finishing up where we started with. We're funneling it all into one place. And so in here, you're going to have a lot of videos. The one-page systems are awesome. They have a lot of great playbooks. They just released the AI playbook for real estate agents just last week on the 11th, I believe. So that's new. That's some fresh information. So if you want to be ahead of the game, pick that up. Plus the MREA podcast a couple of weeks ago, I believe the man's name was Greg Stowe, and it was all about AI. Amazing episode, only about 40 minutes. And one thing it really sat with me from that one was him explaining AI is not going to replace real estate agents, but the agents who are utilizing AI are going to replace the ones who aren't, because it's basically like those who are still using the telegraph got put out of business by those using the telephone, and they couldn't keep up. Horse and buggy got put out by Ford. You know, this is now Ford. And so, you know, hopefully not found on road dead, but it's going to get you a step up in there.
It's
Give
people
you
who
great
stayed with
insight.
MySpace instead of moving.
Exactly. Sorry, Tom. And so utilize Connect, the podcast, if you're driving around a lot. So that way, if something going on, you're still learning. Embrace them. All right. That's what I want to leave with you on that one, as well. Plus there's, you know, the amount of tech items in Command and videos, one-pagers, playbooks, training sessions. There's a lot on there for y'all. So just want to leave you off with the next session tomorrow. I will be the moderator tomorrow, so I'll be hanging out in the chat with you all. Make sure you work on your daily success system by then too. Get those calls in, update your contacts with any notes, information you learned about these people, because you never know when that material is going to be useful for you later on. And let me just see here. And of course, review the materials you've got. We've gone through 12 sessions, so you have 12 sessions of things that you can review on later on. And I bet if you go back to session 1, you're going to have a whole different insight on it today. So with that, I just want to leave off any additional last ahas, questions, feedback, anything like that.
Great info. Thank you very much. Good class.
No problem, Bo. I made it all up.
Casey
But
actually
no
knows
problem.
everything about real estate.
Yeah, I wished. But yeah, so stay with this one. Ignite's a great class that exists because it puts you right back into the mindset of going here. It's not just meant for new agents, it's meant for agents to restart their business too, because some can get into bad habits that we all know exist. And this can really help, push you out of those and get on a nice set path for it.
I want to say thank you to Diana, who has been killing it in the chat here, giving great advice. Thank you, Diana.
Way to go, Diana. I haven't really read much of it, but that's on me. But thank you again. I will just see here. If any of you guys have any questions, I'm going to put my contact info in here. I'm TL at KW Easton and Canton, so we're down on the South Shore of Massachusetts. So if you need anything, just let me know. Always happy to help. Of course, work with your own leadership as well. Not saying I don't want to help you, but just saying that, they are there to help you as well. And they're all great people. Me and Sharon know them. So feel free to reach out if you need anything. And I hope you all leave here with something. I'm a slow typer. I'm sorry.
You are. Wow.
I am. I was all mouse earlier. Now I'm just plus I also know if I hit enter too much, which you did,
I
it would
know.
have sent it. So but yes. So hope you all the best. Stay up to date on your trainings, any role-playing sessions are going on in your office. Keep your eyes on the 2:30 on Mondays. Our RTT Maggie, she runs a tech class from 2:30 to 3. So, if you don't have the information for that, reach out to your leadership to get that on your calendar. It's a nice drop-in session. And while we were joking, I know everything about real estate, Maggie knows everything about KW Tech. So she is a fantastic resource to have for it. And keep your eyes peeled for if your market center or any neighboring ones are having her tech class, her AI class coming in there, because it was really good. Very high level look at it, but I felt underwater afterwards. Like, it can do that. Also keep in mind, one thing that was recently reminded to me, and I've been sharing with everyone, when you go on your @kw.com email, through the apps in Google, you all have a pro membership with Gemini, Google's AI. So if you've been thinking of maybe paying for ChatGPT, if you're, say, in your email and you click those 9 dots in a square, Gemini is an option there. If you click on from that, it'll open right up to Gemini. You should already be logged in. It should say pro next to your name. And so you're good to go. So my plan this weekend is to play around with that a little bit, see what I can do with it. So, take advantage of that. Get a little money saver as well. So you can just use ChatGPT for free and get the pro version for that one. All right. But it's been a pleasure, everyone. I hope you all have a great night. And hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow. I'll be in the chat. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Night.